Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Drew Butler. He is at Fromm Jake. Be sure to check out puntandpass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. Jake, we have so much to get to, a pretty good slate of games here in week 3 as well. We got a little taste of some fall weather in the Atlanta and Athens area. How are you doing?
Man, doing great. Talk to me about the weather. The last 2 mornings have been unbelievable waking up. It's been great outside. Man, just get you ready for college football.
No doubt, dude. Get you ready for college football. That's a fact. Is this like the false fall that we're always accustomed to here in Georgia? 90 degrees is probably going to happen next week, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I saw a tweet and it's like the 12 seasons of
Yeah,
Georgia.
I saw that too.
Yeah. And then we're in the false fall right now before the second summer. So enjoy it while we can. It's going to get hot again. I hate it, but it is what it is.
No doubt. No doubt. We are going to be seeing consistent fall weather here in just a little bit, but it does get you excited. You know what else gets you excited? This episode of Punt and Pass being presented by our awesome partners over at Prize Picks. That's right. Go to prizepicks.com, download the Prize Picks app right now if you haven't already. And first-time depositors, we have a gift for you. Use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT, and you get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. So you put $100 in, they give you an extra $100. Use the promo code PUNT. Prize Picks is simply the best daily fantasy game available right now. College football, Major League Baseball, English Premier League Soccer, NFL, of course, anything and everything. And you can do cross-sport entries too. There is so much action on the weekends now. It's the best time of year, and I absolutely love getting down with some Prize Picks. You can win up to 10 times your money in one day, and payouts are instant. That's the best thing about it. Deposit now. Use the promo code PUNT. Download the Prize Picks app and start playing today. We'll get to Jake Fromm's QB-only entry of the week in just a little bit. Shout out, major shout out to Prize Picks. We absolutely love those guys. All right, we got so much to get to, so let's jump right into 3 and out. 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, if you want to count week 0, Jake, are in the books. I'm going to put you on the spot. First down. Man. What is your biggest surprise through the first 2 weeks of the season? And here, I'm going to put you on the spot even more. I want your top 3 surprises. In no order. Could be good, could be bad. I think there's a lot of different ways to go here. But I'm going to start with my man, Jake Fromm. Biggest surprises of the 2022 season so far.
All right, so this was tough. You sent me this, and man, I rattled with this all day. What is the biggest surprise? I tell you, as a Georgia fan, the biggest pleasant surprise has been Georgia's continued dominance.
Okay, I like that.
You know, I just, coming off last year, we thought, possibly a one-hit wonder, coming back at Oregon, dominant, Samford dominant, got a test this weekend, going to continue to be dominant. Number 2, I think there's just question marks around Alabama. Yeah. They didn't go into Texas. They didn't dominate. And what are they going to be throughout the year? What is their identity? Bryce Young hasn't thrown for the yardage that he's thrown for, not having the same success on offense. We'll maybe get to that later. And then number 3, I think the 2 disappointments that I see are Texas A&M and Notre Dame. One, I didn't think Notre Dame was going to be great. But Texas A&M had a lot riding. Oh, this is the year. They're really going to make a push for the SEC West. After 2 not so great games and then a loss to App State, not looking pretty. Notre Dame still winless under Marcus Freeman. Not looking good.
So you have to pick one of those because I'm obviously going to take either Texas A&M or Notre Dame. So don't take it off my board. Of course, we could share, I'm going to put a little pressure on you.
Biggest surprise, and I think the biggest disappointment, I'm going to stay in the SEC and say Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Because just me personally, I said this has got to be a make or break. They got to make a run for it or they don't. And I just don't see it happening.
All right. I like that. To recap, biggest surprises for Jake Fromm. 1, Georgia's continued dominance. I mean, no question marks whatsoever. 3 points allowed through the first 2 weeks. Absolutely crushing Oregon in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, and then yet another shutout in the Kirby Smart era against Samford. A lot of questions around Alabama is number 2. Yes, there are. Of course, little cupcake start with Utah State. Then they have a true test at Texas, but we'll get to that. A lot of questions in that Texas game, and then Texas A&M. I mean, all the hype, all the expectations,
all the money, all
Jimbo's
the recruits.
year.
This is the year.
And man, they dropped the ball big time against App State. So good list, Jake. Man, you're in the lab today. I really respect that. All right, my number one surprise. And look, you can go around, up, down, around, circular. It's a circle. I'm going to go with Alabama's offensive line, number one. Can't really run the ball that well. We saw Texas stifle him. Bryce Young not getting a lot of protection in the pocket. He had to get on his feet, get outside of the pocket, and extend plays just to save the day against Texas. So Alabama's offensive line is something that we're so accustomed to seeing. Give the quarterback a lot of time, establish the run game early. I think their lack of dominance, Alabama's offensive line, is my biggest surprise.
I like it.
Number one. Two, Nebraska. I mean, come on. Scott Frost had to make a bunch of new hires in the offseason to save his own butt. That's right. Going back with a little butt shout out. And it didn't work. Two losses, 1-2 to start the season, losing to Georgia Southern at home. The in-game decisions against Northwestern in Ireland. He's fired. Number two biggest surprise, Nebraska. Scott Frost getting fired in the first 3 weeks. Yikes. He's $15 million richer, so we will not feel bad for him.
Put our tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, tinfoil hat. We think he might have done that on purpose. And then lastly, I'm really surprised by Jordan Travis at Florida State. Florida State with the big win in week 2 for them, week 1 of the season. They're looking pretty good in the ACC. If you give a quarterback a lot of confidence like Jordan Travis, watch out. Mike Norvell is known for having pretty explosive offenses. So Florida State, in a good way, has been one of my biggest surprises of the season through 2 weeks. So Jordan Travis, Florida State, a little shout out to the Seminoles right there. But those are my 3 biggest surprises thus far. Good first down, Jake.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah,
like
good work. Good work, team.
All right, second down. We can touch on this quickly because I might mix in a fourth down here. We have one thing that it broke right before we were going to start recording. Bobby Petrino returning to Fayetteville, Arkansas this weekend. I am going to be tuned in to see what kind of reception he gets from the Arkansas fan base. As you know, his ousting at Arkansas is extremely well documented. The motorcycle, the neck brace, who was on the motorcycle with him, the pictures of him at the press conference with just a mangled mug. Quite the tenure at Arkansas for Bobby Petrino with that catastrophic finish. And again, remember, he left the Atlanta Falcons in the middle of the night to take that Arkansas job. It makes me think, one, I want to see what kind of reception he gets, because coming off of what Russell Wilson just had to go through on Monday Night Football as the greatest QB in Seahawks history, the personal
with no question about it. Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, he got attacked all game long with the booze. I wonder what the Petrino embrace is going to be like from the Woo Pig Suey faithful.
Yeah. And people forget, and myself included, going back and looking at it, he had very good success at Arkansas. Won a lot of football games. So
Ryan Mallett, high scoring offenses, absolutely.
Yeah, so they had a lot of success there. Obviously, not a good look the way it left. Not very good. Not we'll skip all that. But but a lot of the fans didn't want to see him go because they were winning. They like winning. Winning solves a lot of issues. Covers up a lot of things, but could not cover up that. We'll see when he comes back and see how the game goes.
No question. It made me think, is there any coach, and I think there will be some, with as much baggage as Petrino? One name that came up to me, but he's really fixed his image, is Lane Kiffin. I mean, Lane Kiffin had a ton of baggage, and now he seems to be a pretty solid coach. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't
Come on, give me one. I know you're thinking about it. Give me one.
Just a few of the scandals, recent history. I just honestly, I hate even bringing this up. I feel gross bringing this up, but the whole Sandusky situation at Penn State.
Oh God,
I feel gross even bringing it up, but that was a pretty big scandal. It had the huge stuff at Ole Miss, and then had the Art Briles situation at Baylor. So there's a few.
Our brows Hugh Freeze.
Yep.
I have to say, through 6 seasons of Punt and Pass, I think that's the first Sandusky reference that we've had. So,
gosh,
I did not appreciate that.
Man,
I was thinking
gosh,
Urban
I'm so
Meyer.
sorry.
Urban Meyer, if he were to get back in coaching,
have to have him
come
on the
now.
list.
That's absolutely
have
crazy.
him on the list. They need this gets sent out on Twitter all the time, but they definitely need a 30 for 30 on the 2006 to 7, 08 Florida Gators.
Yeah.
What an insane just character of a roster of players, and then Coach Urban Meyer. Well, it'd be great TV.
Yeah, that would be great TV. I don't know if I've told this story before, but it was 2010. So the 2009 Walter Camp All-American team, you get brought up to New Haven, Connecticut for a big gala weekend. It's awesome. Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, the teams go up there. Former All-Americans are up there. It's at Yale University. It is truly a spectacular weekend and celebration of football. I was fortunate enough to be on the 2009, which seems like many moons ago, first team All-American team. One member of that All-American team was Aaron Hernandez. Okay, so we're in New Haven, Connecticut. Aaron Hernandez is from Connecticut. I think he's from Bristol, or was RIP, I think, from Bristol. We're at a place called Bar. I think it was called Bar in downtown New Haven. Tim Tebow's there. Ndamukong Suh's there. Hernandez is obviously there. Kai Forbath, who was the kicker from UCLA. Him and I don't even think I was 21 at the time. Have the wristband on, getting free drinks, just wearing a bow tie and a tuxedo. Like, hey, I'm just living the life. I'm a junior in college. Well, we're at this place. Somebody bumped into Hernandez and he went ballistic inside the bar. We're all wearing tuxedos. We're in a roped off area. It was one of the more head scratching moments ever. Tim Tebow had to wrangle him up, bear hug him, take him out, take him back to the hotel, calm him down. And then when everything happened, and all the news breaks, I'm like, hold on a second. That guy had a couple of screws loose. And I saw one instance in person. I don't know if I've ever told that on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Honest to God truth that happened. That was January of 2010. Tebow had to restrain Aaron Hernandez because somebody simply bumped into the guy. Like shoulder bump at a bar, crowded spot. We had a roped off area. And it sent him into an absolute spiral. Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. I wonder how many just times Tebow had to just,
become a 30 for 30.
That's it. We need it. No,
good tip. Good TV.
There. Yeah,
a lot of baggage with some potential coaching candidates out there. We'll see Petrino owners return to Arkansas, but as Jake Fromm said a couple of minutes ago, winning solves a lot of things. Can certainly give you a little bit extra overhead space when you're carrying that much baggage. All right, third down. This has been kind of a repeated trend throughout the week, but I got to ask you about Kirby Smart's mentality recently. Love the way he's talking to the media. Love the way he's kind of setting the standard, not only for his players, but for his staff. And then I think what Kirby does a phenomenal job of is what he says repeatedly. The fan base starts believing in it and they start repeating it. And it's like this collective all-in effort. Some of the quotes that he's continued to say leading up to this South Carolina game, nobody cares about your feelings.
Yeah.
Love that. I think that's pretty standard in football, especially at high level college football and into the NFL. Everybody's making a big deal about the heat at South Carolina. He's going, hey, look, we practice in the heat too. It actually wasn't hot enough for us this summer. And he adds, our guys actually like going on the road and playing in the SEC. I love that. And then Eric Gilbert getting limited reps in the first 2 games. Kirby goes, look, it's about his performance. It has nothing to do with Brock. It has nothing to do with Darnell Washington. It's Eric Gilbert's performance weekly in practice. So you having played with Kirby, Jake, I'd love to get your thoughts on these kind of sentiments.
Yeah, I think it's completely underrated, the messaging and the themes that come from him and then filter down throughout the university and the organization. First thing that pops into mind, was keep chopping, something that came alive during my tenure there. And, like you said, the fans, they attach and they latch onto it and they start believing it as well. It becomes just a huge theme and a great message, not just for football, but for life in general. Coach Smart's phenomenal at that. Going to Arik, hey, it's a coach's job to put his best players on the field. If they think, Arik is doing a good job, they're going to try to find ways to get him matchups and put him on the field. So I don't think it has anything to do with Brock or Darnell. I think those two guys are unbelievable athletes. Those guys will be first round picks. If they last that long, they're definitely gone on day 2. And yeah, we'll see from there. The Heat, I don't think it's going to be that hot. It wasn't that hot. I was there all summer. It really wasn't, a big deal. It's a mentality. These guys are tough. They're physical. The stuff they go through the winter and the summer, these guys are really tough. They're ready to go. Do not fret.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of echoed everything that I just said, and I love your insight. I think one of the biggest things about Kirby, and you can just tell when he talks, is that he's authentic. Jake, you've been around a lot of coaching staffs. You can tell when coaches are not authentic and they're trying to give you the rah-rah and nobody buys in.
It just reeks when you're not real. Just be a real person. Obviously, coaching, during recruiting, teammate, players, doesn't matter. Just be a real, authentic person, and people will respect you. They may not like you, but they will respect you.
I like that. And it's great because when he says stuff like nobody cares about your feelings, the fan base on Twitter, like, hell yeah, that's my coach. I don't give a shit about your feelings either. We're going to go out there and whoop up on South Carolina. I'm like, dude, I love it. Like, hands in the pile. I think that's one of the things that Coach Smart has done so well in his tenure at Georgia. He consistently repeats this type of messaging to where everybody buys in, and it takes on a life of its own. I'm sure the shirts have already been printed of nobody cares about your feelings for everybody to wear throughout the rest of the 2022 campaign. And this leads me into my next point about Kirby, about his mentality, and about his approach. Earlier on today, of course, we're taping this on a Wednesday night. Oklahoma. Georgia was supposed to go on the road to Norman, Oklahoma, to take on the Sooners in 2023. That game, per the SEC's request, has been canceled. So Georgia will not be going to Norman in 2023 anymore. It's being reported that Georgia will be playing Ball State at home on the second week of the season next year at 2023. But let me just say one thing right now.
Talk to me.
I highly doubt Georgia will open the season in 2023 with 2 cupcake opponents. I highly doubt that when we get there, the schedule for Georgia in 2023 will be week 1 UT Martin and week 2 Ball State. I would think that Kirby Smart, the athletic administration, everybody will put their thoughts together and say, how can we get a premier Power 5 non-conference matchup, even if it's at a neutral site? And our good buddy, the poor man at the PMGN on Twitter, said that he's hearing rumblings that it could be a soon-to-be ex-Pac-10 school at a neutral site. You've seen a school like Southern Cal, USC, play Alabama in Jerry World in the AT&T Kickoff Classic. I would not be shocked at all if Georgia tries to make their way to Dallas, find a neutral site and a Power 5 non-conference opponent, and make the start of 2023 a little bit more exciting. You heard it here first. Shout out to the poor man at the PMGN on Twitter, as we all love here on Punt and Pass. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's certainly a possibility. Kirby ain't going to play 2 cupcakes to start 2023. No chance, bro. Believe me.
Yeah, no, I love the insider information. That's awesome. That gets me riled up. I mean, we all want to watch crazy, awesome, good football.
Yeah.
We want the best to play the best. So however they can wheel and deal and go find whoever they think that'd be a different, conference opponent, I'm all in for it. Please go do it. That's what we want. Let's go see some good football.
No doubt. Being at the Chick-fil-A kickoff game 2 weeks ago against Oregon, that atmosphere, the pageantry around the game, the fans getting excited about week 1, that's what you need. And Kirby knows, and everybody who's playing these neutral site non-conference games in week 1 knows that really puts a feather in your cap later down on the season, win, lose, or draw.
I wonder if the coaches would admit to this, and it just kind of came to me now. I wonder if it creates a sense of urgency throughout the offseason.
No doubt.
Programming, and the fall camp. It creates a sense of urgency that, hey, we got to be ready to go. There's no cupcake game going in the first one. Okay, let's get ready for the second one, because you got to be ready to go on kickoff on that first game.
100% agree with you. That makes all the sense in the world. And I think that they would back that as well. The coaches, of course, saying it changes the mentality throughout fall camp and creates that sense of urgency, which is what's needed.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of injuries in week 1 of the NFL. I think that's because guys aren't playing in preseason. They're not really getting the hard practice reps like our man Dan Campbell with the Lions was doing in Detroit throughout training camp. It makes you have to get into the swing of things very quickly.
Yeah, I saw it just, from being up there as well. Some of the vets, it takes them just a second to get into season shape. But once they get in season shape, usually it's fine. After week 4, 5, 6, you just their bodies are so just used to it. They've done it for so long, but it takes a second to get in the season shape for sure.
Absolutely. Good stuff. A lot breaking in the world of college football, and it only gets better too as the season goes on. Things are just happening hour by hour, seemingly, and we'll always have you dialed in right here on Punt and Pass. We appreciate you listening. Check us out on social media at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram, puntandpass.com. We also have to get to Jake Fromm's QB only entry of the week on Prize Picks. That's right. Go to prizepicks.com, download the Prize Picks app, use the promo code PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. And if you use that promo code and you do sign up, tweet at us. Tweet at me, at Drew Butler, tweet at Jake, at From Jake. Let us know. Maybe we'll send something your way. Look, we got an all-time quarterback. I know you don't want my autograph. Maybe Jake will say something. We got some Punt and Pass hats. I'll send it to you. Just prove to me that you and your friends are signing up for Prize Picks at Prize Picks. Download the app. Use the promo code PUNT. All right, Jake, you've been in the lab. It's the QB only entry of the week. We ask for 3, maybe 4 picks. We bundle it up. We create the Jake Fromm, bet the Fromm on it. QB only entry of the week. So talk to me, partner.
All right. First up, we have Will Levis versus Youngstown State.
Over. Kentucky's quarterback.
Yep. With Kentucky. I'm going to take the over. He's at 229.5. I think they'll have their continued success on offense.
Chris Rodriguez is out. Running back's out. So good thinking there. Yep.
I'm liking it. Continued success. I think they got a ball rolling there. I think they'll keep going. They'll get hit in the face soon, but as for right now, they're going to roll in this week over 229.5. Now, next up we have Hendon Hooker, 225.5 versus Akron.
Passing yards.
Yep, over passing yards. They're throwing the ball really well right now. They're having some success. Just had a big win versus Pitt. I think this is a cupcake number right here.
Akron, right?
Yeah, Akron. Yep. I think they go in. They start fast. Easy over right here. No big deal at all. Next up, we have the future Heisman Trophy winner, Anthony Richardson.
Yes.
100.
He's already won it.
He's already won it. Passing yards here, 190.5 versus USF. Now, had a rough week last week versus Kentucky. Completion percentage was not great.
Yep.
This was a tough one for me. I think it's just right there on the bubble. But I do think they need just a get back week. Man, this one's tough. I'm gonna have to take the over here.
Okay. Over 190.5.
Over 90.5. Yep. I think he's going to be a low 200s. So I do think he will get over the 190.5. Now we have 2 guys left, Bryce Young and Stetson.
You want to put a little fiver together? Is that what you're looking to do?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna put 5 together.
Oh, I love it.
We're gonna put 5 together. Now, these two. Man, these two are really tough for me because they have Bryce Young at 275.5 passing yards
against Louisiana Monroe
versus Louisiana Monroe. Okay, but he has not thrown over 215 yards yet in a game this year.
Because that offensive line can't give him any protection.
213 versus Texas and 190 something in the first game.
Yeah,
versus what Utah State.
Utah State, correct.
Yep. And so. Gosh, but I think even though this doesn't make sense at all, but this past Heisman winner, I think they're gonna have a big game. They got to get something rolling on offense. They're gonna put all their chips in. We're gonna say, hey, we need a big game on offense. Over Bryce Young, 275.5.
Okay, now, passing yards, yeah, love it. Great reasoning too.
Now we have Stetson, the mailman Bennett.
The mailman.
Just take a guess. I'm sure you've looked at it. Dude, he's at 294.5.
I know. And I'm just telling you, Prize Picks lines makers, they don't just throw these out willy-nilly.
I know.
294.5. So they are expecting Georgia to air it out this weekend against South Carolina. 2 DBs, I believe, or a DB and a linebacker are injured and not playing for South Carolina.
Man.
Continue.
Wow. So this is really tough for me because I think, I don't know specifically the game plan, but for me, I would think Kirby would just want to go in there, be physical,
Yeah.
and really, it's the first SEC game. This is just about physicality. We're gonna set, the SEC East, just really set a precedent there and be physical. So I'm gonna have to go under.
Okay.
Okay, it's not that much under. I think he's going to throw for 275.
Okay. Yeah.
But for him to hit that close to 300 yard mark is going to be tough to do 3 times in a row in the first SEC game.
Hey, even if it's 294, that under still cashes right
still
there
cashes.
on Prize Picks. There we have it, folks. I only asked for 3 or 4. Jake Fromm feeling froggy heading into week 3. He likes
I'm sweating.
QBs in his QB only bet the Fromm on it Prize Picks entry of the week. To recap, here it is. Kentucky quarterback Will Levis over 229.5 passing yards against Youngstown State. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker over 225 passing yards against Akron. Future Heisman Trophy winner, Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson over 190.5 passing yards against South Florida. The mailman, Stetson Bennett, not by much, but under 294.5 passing yards at South Carolina. And to round it out, last year's Heisman Trophy winner, Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback Bryce Young, 275.5 over those passing yards. That's it. The Jake Fromm, bet the Fromm on it, QB only entry of the week for week 3. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. Good job, Jake. Man,
Thanks,
love that.
man.
That's great insight there. Great insight. He's sweating, but I'll be sweating it too. And when it cashes, we're going to have a party. We're going to have a party. I love it. Awesome. Let's go inside the 5. We got some great games this week. A lot of action in the SEC as well. And we'll start with this Georgia-South Carolina matchup. It hits us right in the face at noon on ESPN this Saturday. Number 1 Georgia traveling to South Carolina. This is a big line, Jake. Georgia's a 24-point favorite per Bet Online right now. Holler at me if you want a Bet Online promo code at Drew Butler on Twitter. The total is 53.5. Now, I have to tell you this, Jake. I'm sorry. You're my partner now. We air all these things out.
We do.
Georgia was a 24.5-point favorite at home against South Carolina in 2019. I was at my cousin's house, okay? He was having a housewarming party in Brookhaven. It was a noon game in Athens. We said, hey, Austin, we'll come to your house. We'll have a couple of beers. We'll watch Georgia smack South Carolina and start our Saturday off great. 3:45 p.m., we're crushing beer cans in our hands. The Dogs lost. That's just what happened, bro. But we forgive you. I lost some games too. I lost a lot of games.
Man, that was a rough one. Gosh, just waking up that morning, I was fine. I felt like I was ready to go, but man,
I just remember the turnovers not your fault. Balls were all over the place.
Slow moving that day. Man, just I think that's a testament to waking up, being ready to go at a noon kickoff game. And people forget about it. These are college kids.
6:30, 6 a.m. wake up call. It's early.
Yeah, man. It shouldn't be early, but it is. For some of those guys, hey, wake up, be ready to go. Georgia covers and the over. Dogs roll. Do not bring up 2019 ever again. Thank you.
My man, I've been killing him all week about it. And I agree with you. I totally understand. And I think those experiences, especially as a coaching staff like Kirby Smart, can relay that and say, hey, we have got to be ready at the first snap, especially in Columbia, South Carolina. Everybody makes such a big deal about the home field advantage of Willie B. And it is a legitimate home field advantage. I mean, even Shane Beamer, South Carolina's head coach, in the public is going, we need the crowd to be there as early as possible. Think about what Georgia did a year ago against Arkansas. That was a noon game. And my dad, I remember he was at the game on the sideline for the Bulldog Radio Network. He was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, might have been the loudest I've ever heard Sanford. Those types of environments make a big difference. But if Georgia goes in there and they're prepared and they run the ball and they neutralize that home crowd, then it's off to the races. You can't turn the ball over. You can't go 3 and out and have a bad punt, which I'm very familiar with. You cannot give them any life. And I don't think Georgia will. You mentioned it. Your number 1 biggest surprise so far this season through 2 weeks has been Georgia's continued dominance. I think here is where they set the stage. Kirby has been saying this all week in the media. Hey, we want to go on the road. Hey, we like playing when it's hot. Hey, we want these types of challenges. So, Jake, you've talked me into it too. I have not been seeing the board that well so far, but lay the 24 with Georgia. They have dominated the SEC East. Dominated. And I don't think it changes this weekend. I look at one key matchup. Okay. Kirby Smart versus Shane Beamer. And God loves Shane Beamer, but that is a gigantic mismatch. I'll take Kirby. I'll take Stetson. I'll take the Grizzly team of the Georgia Bulldogs and lay the 24 points with Jake Fromm. So, Jake, no more 2019 talk. Deal?
Yep. Deal. Last thing I'll say about it.
Yes.
One last thing in 2019. Can you believe this? We ran over 100 offensive plays in that game.
Did you really?
They never stopped us. We just stopped ourselves. Over 100 offensive plays. That is insane. And then 2, do not forget who is on staff now at Georgia. Coach Muschamp is. And so he knows all the ins and outs of that stadium.
Yes.
Of that organization. He knows it all.
And Coach Bobo, too. Coach Bobo was there 2 years ago, right? Or last year. Last year he was there.
Yep. So
a lot of connectivity. A lot of connectivity.
Lot of
Drew and Jake both on Georgia laying the points. Jake also likes the over 53. He thinks Georgia might just go in there and smack these boys around. It'll be a great game. Our buddy Sean McDonough on the call with Todd Blackledge, ESPN at noon. All right, a game you have some more insight on, and I got to ask you the first question if you did a little recon research. 3:30 p.m., the SEC on CBS is back. We love that. That theme music just gets the juices flowing throughout the fall. But number 22, Penn State, is heading down south to take on Auburn. Penn State, a 3-point road favorite. The total's 48. Jake, a lot of talk, a lot of hype on social media about this orange out in Auburn. They teased this morning that they'll be wearing the orange face masks. Will they be wearing orange jerseys?
Me as my 007 James Bond undercover work here, myself did all the work I could do. However, my fellow spy inside Auburn did not do his work.
Okay.
Well, I texted him, no response. I called him, missed it. I was in class. He called me back. I tried to call him a second ago. He must already be at practice. So I dropped the ball on that one. I do not have a confirmation on the orange out. However, I do like Auburn in this. Please give them 3 points. This is going to be a hostile environment. Auburn went up to Penn State, played that. That was a very tough game. Great game. Yep. Down to the wire. I just don't think Penn State's going to be ready to go into this environment. From my experience playing there, that is a really, really, really tough place to play. And
especially when the crowd is like totally bought in. Yes, which you're very familiar with.
It's a 3:30 game. This is going to be a great atmosphere. I love it. Let's go.
I totally agree with you. I love Auburn here. I want to get to the kind of conspiracy theory generalities as far as the fan bases with alternate jerseys. It's just crazy. It takes on a life of its own. But I'm going to take Auburn plus the 3. Auburn is -4 in the turnover margin through the first 2 games of the season. They've also had tons of penalty issues. I think they've been addressing that all week in practice. They know that they have to play a tight, solid game to upset or keep this game versus Penn State close.
And they want a little payback too.
They need it. They absolutely need it.
This is the same thing as the Tennessee Pitt situation. And I think it's going to be flip-flop just like it was Tennessee versus Pitt. Please,
no doubt.
Go ahead.
Auburn's been averaging 247.5 rushing yards per game, granted against some more cupcake opponents. They're going to rely heavily on Tank Bigsby in this game. They're going to try to wear out Penn State, keep the ball out of Sean Clifford's hands. He's had 5 touchdowns and only 1 pick this season. I love Auburn with the points at home. I just do. I think this is a great matchup. I think it's a win that Brian Harsin can really hang his hat on and get some.
He needs it.
Yeah, he can get some grace from the Auburn fan base. There's no doubt about that. What is the best way to go about these alternate jerseys? You know, we see it happen at Georgia a lot with the black jerseys, but the fans get so involved in it, then it becomes almost a distraction. So my question is, if your brother did or didn't know, we're not going to find out on this podcast. Is it better to tell the seniors like, hey, we're going to do it, just hide it from the team until Saturday? Or do you tell the team, hey, everybody, we're doing the orange jerseys, just play stupid on social media, don't say anything, it's going to be great for our fans? Or do you just surprise them on Saturday? In 2007, during the blackout game at Auburn, the team had no idea. The seniors knew. They went out for the coin flip. They had the black jerseys on underneath the reds. We went in after pregame warmups and the black jerseys were laid out on our chairs at Sanford Stadium. Everybody went nuts. We obviously took care of business in a big way. I redshirted, so I didn't do much of anything except dance on the sidelines. But what is your best case scenario on how to handle this from a locker room perspective?
Wow. So I wish I had a little bit more experience in this. This may be the only regret. I don't have very many regrets at all in my life. However, one of them is not pushing harder to wear black jerseys during my tenure at the University of Georgia.
So is it player driven? Is that what you're saying? Coach, we got to wear the black jerseys. Yeah. Okay.
Kirby did not like the whole vibe with the black jersey. Yeah, he just didn't like it. He just thought it just kind of set everything up for failure. In my opinion, if your locker room is so worried about that, to me, that's kind of an issue in itself.
Yeah.
Why are we worried about what jersey we're playing? And that's what, in my opinion, that's what Coach Smart's thinking. It's like,
yeah,
why are we worried about this? We should be worried about the game, who's ahead of us, winning our one-on-one battles, playing physical ball, execution, yada yada, etc. But how to go about it? I think that's a great way to go about it. Tell the seniors, keep it tight knit. Don't have any leaks. So we're not throwing my brother on the bus, but yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. We'll see though.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fresh though. I've seen some renderings. I hate the color orange, but I think it'd look pretty cool. So we'll see what they do.
Hate Tennessee orange.
Yeah, it's awful.
Hate it.
But Jake and I both like Auburn +3. Hey, another great game in the SEC West. Mississippi State at LSU. This game's at 6 p.m. on ESPN right now at BetOnline. Mississippi State, who had a huge road win at Arizona last week, is a 2.5-point favorite. The total here is 53. Jake, this is a big test, I think, for Brian Kelly. Close game at home, night in Baton Rouge, SEC West opponent. You got to get these across the finish line or else, man, they're going to be holding his feet to the fire big time.
Absolutely. LSU had a lot more success in week 2. Didn't really play a huge big-time opponent by any means. I mean, do they start milling around the fire rumor if he loses to Mississippi State in week 3? I mean, I don't know. But I like Mississippi State in this one. I don't think LSU's ready. The Brian Kelly experience, I just don't think it's ready. I like Mississippi State in this one.
Do you really? All right. Yeah, so you think Mike Leach, Will Rogers, and the boy can go in to Death Valley and take care of business? All right, here's what I think's going to happen.
Do you remember they came into Georgia and played Georgia pretty tough?
Yeah.
To speak. I mean, relatively. Okay.
Yeah, relatively. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah. Thanks. I mean, I'll give you that. I think LSU with the talent, just the talent. I'm not even talking about 5 stars or NFL prospects, but the speed, the athleticism of their defensive players should know how to just drop 8, rush 3, get after Will Rogers. Do not let them pick apart your defense. I love LSU getting points at home at night.
Okay.
They have to pick up what they did wrong against Florida State in New Orleans. So give me a home primetime dog. I think that's the play here. LSU +2.5. They need a big win. And I think this would be a big win to the start of Brian Kelly's career in Baton Rouge.
Got a question for you. Mike Leach or Brian Kelly?
This might be unpopular, but I'll take Brian Kelly. I'll take Brian Kelly over Mike Leach, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what you're going to get. I think Brian Kelly has a ceiling, and we'll find out what that ceiling is at LSU. I don't think Mike Leach can win a national championship with Mississippi State. And that might be a product of the environment that he's in. You know, if you put Mike Leach at Georgia or at Alabama, you know, could he win a national championship? Technically speaking, probably yes. But I think Brian Kelly has a extremely high ceiling at LSU, and we'll wait to see if it can be achieved.
Okay.
Who do you like? Obviously, Mike Leach over them.
Yeah, which I think is tough. I asked the question because I didn't want to answer it, but because I thought it was a really tough. I loved the way you explained it. I think Brian Kelly's ceiling is higher, but I also think his floor is lower. I think there's a bigger range.
Yeah, Leach has a baseline. He's been a lot of places. Yeah,
I feel like, hey, you know what you're going to get. It may not work, but he's going to try it. He's going to air the ball out. He's going to beat some teams, but he's going to lose the teams he's supposed to lose to. However, I think the Brian Kelly experience could just go off the rails real fast. All right. That's where I'm at.
I like that. I like that. All right, we're on the different sides there. I'll take the 2.5 at home with LSU. Jake lays the 2.5 with Mississippi State. Two more games. A great top 25 primetime matchup at 9 p.m. What a late kick. My goodness, on ESPN.
Terrible.
Number 13, Miami, off to a pretty good start. Mario Cristobal and Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback. Heading to College Station. Number 24, Texas A&M. A&M just lost to App State. A&M, a 5-point favorite. These people in Vegas, man, it is crazy. The total here is 44.5. Who do you like?
Whew, it's tough. Texas A&M drops all the way down to number 24.
Yeah. I'm surprised they stayed in the top 25, but yes.
I mean, I think this is tough. Texas A&M is at home. However, I think right now, Miami is a better football team, but they're going into Texas A&M in that environment, night game. Texas A&M has a sour taste in their mouth. They just got their butt chewed all week from Jimbo. Give me Texas A&M.
Great explanation. Do you have any connections to A&M? Did you get recruited by them? Do you know Jimbo Fisher?
I don't, but I believe Coach Coley's still there.
Oh, yeah. What is up with like the midnight yell videos, the pep rallies, the overall it's pretty unique atmosphere at Texas A&M, and they obviously had a little bit of egg on their face after really having not that close of a game against App State and losing in College Station with all the expectations, which was one of your biggest surprises through the first 2 weeks of the season. One of my just general rules in sports gambling is that if a line just stinks out loud, take it. Vegas is way smarter than me. I don't know why Texas A&M would be a 5-point favorite over Miami. Now, obviously, home teams get 3 points, so it's 3 plus 2. It's going to be a pretty close one-score game. But based on what Tyler Van Dyke's been doing, he's a really good quarterback. I love the physicality that Mario Cristobal brings to Miami as well. That makes me think Miami should win or Miami's the better team. But if Vegas is telling me A&M's a 5-point favorite, I'm just going to close my eyes and write A&M -5. So I'm on the same side as you.
Okay.
Going with the sharps. Man in the suit, as Dave Portnoy says on Barstool. Like, man in the suit. Trust those guys. It ain't me. I'm just going to go with A&M.
I like it.
All right, last one really quickly. Another top 25 matchup. Yeah. Number 12, BYU, heading out to Oregon to take on number 25, Oregon. We saw Bo Nix and the Ducks and head coach Dan Lanning against Georgia in week 1. This game's at 3:30 p.m. on Fox. Oregon, a 3.5-point favorite here. The total is 58.
Is this another one of those situations? Just trust the guy in the suit?
It could be, but BYU coming off a very emotional overtime victory a week ago. Yeah. This is going to be a good atmosphere in Autzen. It is a 3:30 or 12:30, local time kickoff. I think this could be one of the better games of the weekend.
I think so too. And in my heart of hearts, I love Coach Lanning so much, hoping for their success. Got connections with Bo Nix, want him to do well. This may not. I'm going my heart here, not necessarily in my head, but I'm going to take Oregon in this one.
Okay. All right.
Just because I want it to happen so bad that it will happen on the field, because that makes all the sense in the world, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it takes to make those convicted.
That's what it takes.
So yes, I like that. You're laying the 3.5 with Oregon. I am going to take the 3.5 with BYU. I think BYU sees the 2022 pathway to a potential college football playoff. It's all right in front of them, right? They got away with a win a week ago. Their quarterback hugging the kicker. Hey, man, we got you. Hands in the pile. I think BYU knows, again, you have to knock off these big-time opponents. Granted, they're an independent school. They play a pretty decent schedule, relatively speaking. This will be a big win for them. Knock off a top 25 team at the time on the road. Put a feather in your cap. Keep marching towards mixing things up. Notre Dame is out of the playoffs. So, look, BYU has the pathway to make some noise. I'll take the 3.5 with BYU.
Yeah.
All right. There's our Inside the Five. Top 5 games of the week. Can I give you one absolute lock? I know I've been terrible. I've been 2-8 this season.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if you need to now.
Do you want my just stone cold lock? It might even be lock of the year.
Lock of the year. Let me hear it.
Nebraska plus 11.5. Nebraska just fired Scott Frost. Oklahoma coming in. Oklahoma, number 6 in the nation. Mickey Joseph's the interim head coach. He's out there going, this is all about the kids. It's all about the boys. Nebraska, 5-22 in one-score games since Scott Frost was hired. He's obviously been fired. Here's the thing. They'll lose, but it will be by 1 score. So give me the 11.5 points.
Ooh, man, lock of the year. You know they don't play defense in Nebraska right now, right?
Well, you know what? Casey Thompson can light it up too. They've been scoring
he's
points.
Been balling. That would
you like, or do you hate that? Do you just absolutely hate that?
No, he'd be another one to add to the From 5 pick QB picks. I mean, he's been throwing well. Great. They got a good system going, but they don't play defense there, coach.
Well, I'm going with it. I'm riding with my gut, dude. I've been so bad. It's got to turn around some point, right?
That's right. That's right.
Nebraska plus.
You just want it so bad.
That is not included in my Inside the 5, but that's my free pick of the week.
It's a freebie.
Go to all of our great listeners. What are your plans for the weekend? You going hunting? What you up to? We got family coming in town.
We got family coming in town. May try to get in the stand tomorrow. We'll see. Got plenty of honeydews to knock out here at the house before family comes into town. But it's going to be a good weekend. Going to hate we're not going to make it down to the Penn State-Auburn game. That would be an incredible atmosphere. But good luck, Tyler.
Absolutely, man. Good luck, Tyler. Punt and Pass is certainly behind you. Follow Jake on Twitter and Instagram at FromJake, at JakeFrom11. I'm at Drew Butler, at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram, puntandpass.com, the #1 destination for all things college football. And download Prize Picks. That's right. Download the Prize Picks app. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code PUNT. The promo code PUNT gets you a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. Check us out on social media all weekend. I'm going to post the Bet the From on it. QB only entry of the week. It's a 5-pick entry, and we are going to be partying this weekend because my man Jake was in the lab. This is a surefire knockout. Let's eat. PrizePicks.com. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. You can win 10x your money in one day, and the payouts are instant. What are you waiting on? It's free money, people. All right, brother. Have a great weekend. I appreciate y'all listening. Check us out on YouTube as well. Rate, review, subscribe. You know the drill. And we will talk to you on Monday. See ya.
See ya. Thank y'all.